Hey guys, good Saturday morning. It is 8:05 a.m. Pacific time. It is February 22nd, 2025. And yeah, just a few days ago, I did my review or updated a review and take on the 45th page of the Sabrina online story, Zig Zag centric story, stripes and links. And I said it was very PSA, and it was. Now, what's interesting though about that is how it ended, because Brandon, after getting him and Brandy getting an explanation as to why Zig Zag, abruptly left the way she did when they were younger, he wonders, okay, well, what made you come around this time? And Zig Zag goes on to explain it all started when she kissed the mother of her friend and everything, and everybody's reaction was like, "What? Excuse me? What did you say?" You know. And you would think it would continue from there, but they kind of pivoted a little bit in a different direction, because we're still going to get, resolution to that. But what happened instead is that we have apologies all the way around, if you will. We have apologies all the way around, because basically she does apologize to them. She says that, to Brandy and Brandon, that she's really sorry she wasn't around to see them grow up, and that they know she wanted to. In other words, she's basically saying that, it's her fault that she wasn't there to see them grow into who they are, and that they know in their hearts that that's exactly what she wanted to do. She wanted to be there to see them grow up, basically grow up alongside them. And, after getting the explanation and everything, of course, in the previous page, Brandon, understands. He basically says, "Yeah, I get it. You had your own problems. I understand that." And then he apologizes. He says, sometimes he gets so wrapped up in his own things and his own agendas that he doesn't really think about what others might be going through. And Zig Zag, basically says that, and she's very apologetic about it. She basically says that kind of runs in the family. And, so both of them ask if they will forgive so Brandon asks if she'll forgive him, and she says, "Well, if you forgive me." And Brandon says it might take a while to work things out, but he'll try. And Zig Zag's totally cool with that. She says that's fine and everything. So they do get apologies, or as Eric puts it in the description, a bit of a ceasefire. And Brandy's very happy. She's like, she's very happy, very enthusiastic, I should say, about it. And she says, "Come on, everybody, let's hug it out." And Brandon's like, "I don't," and Zig Zag's like, "Just humor your sisters, Brandon." In other words, telling him, "Hey, just lighten up and just, join in for a little bit, okay?" So that's, so basically we do get apologies and everything, so that's kind of cool to see. And Tina's happy that she was there to see it, and so are the grandparents. And the grandfather's like, "Yeah, it feels like we've been waiting for decades and everything." But then quietly, you kind of see Brandon and Zig Zag and Brandy talking, in a whispery tone. And Zig Zag's telling Brandon, "Be careful. I've seen it in myself, and I could see some of Dad's temper in you." And Brandy follows that up by saying, "I keep telling him." And then Brandon, closes that out by saying saying that he knows and he doesn't like it. And what that tells me is that obviously when they do get to talking about why she's there, and what happened with her and Endora, that she's gonna explain her history and everything, and that thinking about it, thinking back upon it, thinking about it, I should say. It's early, I do apologize. But anyway, she's probably going to say that thinking back on it now, she's going to realize that not only does she have the tiger blood in her, like the grandfather alluded to several pages earlier, but that also she has a little bit of her father in her. Like the tiger thing is predatorial, and the father thing is mainly like, she can do whatever she wants without realizing the consequences and stuff like that. And she'll probably also chalk it up to the fact that she works, or she owns her own adult studio and everything, adult filmographic studio, if you will, film studio. She's gonna probably chalk that up. She's gonna add that to, being part tiger and that predatorial instinct in her, and then, part of her dad's, part of her dad's persona being in her. She's probably gonna chalk that up to being, this is why she, acts the way she does, because she feels like, because she feel, basically it's because she's very predatorial, and that when she sees something like, let's say, a Sabrina or a Sheila or whoever, and unless the, she's gonna look at them and be like, I don't care if they're not willing or if they are willing, I'm gonna take them. I'm gonna take them and get it on with them. And it takes the other person to essentially either accept it, be willing to go along with it, or in Sabrina's case, sock the living crap out of her. you know. But yeah, I think we're gonna find out more about why Zig Zag does this, because that's why she's there. She's wondering, okay, I need answers, because let's not forget at the beginning, and I highly recommend if you haven't read the entire story yet, go to the beginning. You'll see exactly how this all started in the first several pages. But she again, the reason she's there is she wants answers. She wants answers, and she wants because that's what I was trying to say. And again, I do apologize. It is early. As I was trying to say, she basically, she basically caught herself. Like, she kissed Endora in the at the beginning of the story, but she's the one that caught herself. Usually, it's the other way around. And she even demonstrated that when she tried kissing Sabrina to kind of get the point across. And then Sabrina's like, "Hey, cut it off, or cut it out." And she's like, "That's exactly what I was talking about. Or that's exactly what I was expecting from your mom, but I didn't get it." So yeah, that's why, so again, we're going to probably find out that it's a combination of her owning an adult film studio, her being part tiger, her having unfortunately, some bits and pieces of her father's personality in her, his traits, if you will. She's going to look at that as all being a combination as to why she acts the way she does. And I cannot wait to see like what questions are going to be asked, like when she explains that, hey, I stopped myself, like while I was kissing her, I'm the one that kind of woke up and like pulled away, but she didn't do what her daughter has done or anybody else would do if they didn't want to be kissed by me, or whatever. So I can only imagine what the reactions to the questions will be from the grandparents, from Brandy, from Brandon. And again, maybe it's all going to tie together, because a lot of people are saying there are similarities in the traits of Sabrina's family, and Sabrina herself, and Zig Zag's family. So if there's a connection there, it's going to be interesting to see. And if there's a connection maybe between the grandma and Endora, or the grandma and the grandpa and Sabrina's parents, again, it's going to be interesting to see and find out. But I think the next time we come around, within the next week, we will get answers, basically, as to not just answers, but we'll get more of a clarification as to why she acts the way she does. And when she probably explains that she's the one that pulled away and not Endora, that's gonna really raise a lot of red flags. Like, well, if she didn't pull away, that means obviously she must have done something like that in the past, but it's something she's tried to lock away. But we'll see what they do in the next coming few pages. But I've really been enjoying this story. I really have. I mean, you don't get many Zig Zag centric stories and everything, and this is a big one that I think a lot of fans are happy to have, appreciative to have, and can't wait to see where they go with it. And within the next few weeks, within the next few months, depending on how much longer this goes, because we're already at the 46th page. You have to wonder if he's going to go 100 pages with this, and this might be all gathered together as its own trade paperback, hardcover, if you will, for sale in the future. But we'll see. But I'm liking this. I'm liking the dynamic, and we'll see whether or not there's a connection, maybe a relative connection, but we'll see. Overall, it's not bad. It's not been bad. It's been an enjoyable ride. I still think as far as the For After Dark thing goes, because Zig Zag also shows up there. I think we might get a spin-off comic eventually, you know, that takes place during this or after. Like if it's during this, it's going to be a For After Dark comic with her and Tina getting it on, or it's going to be a post story in For After Dark where, maybe we find out Endora doing this was kind of like Zig Zag when she was younger, and everything, and perhaps we get something with her and Endora. That being Zig Zag and Endora in a For After Dark series, a story, I should say. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this. How do you feel about the story so far? If you've been following it, either through Patreon or Sabrina-online.com. Let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below. Comment in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video. Super chats are on during the live chat if you want to help there, if you haven't already. Super thanks are open afterwards. Also, guys, you can check me out at all the places linked, hopefully in the description. You can find me over at patreon.com at bwroses. You can find me at VENMO.com, bwroses, odyssey.com, bwroses.5. You can find me over at rumble.com, bwroses. You can find me at kick.com at bwroses. You can find me at twitch.tv, bwroses. You can find me at iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spotify, Audible for Amazon, Pandora, Radio Public, Overcast. Anywhere there's an audio or video podcast, you will find mine there as well. You can also check out the Teespring store for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. Also, support me over at Venmo and Cash App if you want to help out there. And also, you can follow me at Twitter/x.com, or x.com I should say, at bwroses. You can also find me at Blue Sky at bwroses and on TikTok at bwroses. But guys, give me your thoughts on this overall. What do you think of it? What are you looking forward to the most? Do you think we might get a For After Dark spin-off comic that takes place during or after? What are your thoughts? Do you think there's a connection? Let me know. And until next time, guys, I will talk to y'all later. And until then, I am out.